This is wrestling's greatest moments.
Hey now, wrestling fans! It's time for another episode of Wrestling's Greatest Moments. Entrance themes weren't always slick, custom-made tracks. For years, wrestlers stormed the ring to real rock hits. Skynyrd, Sabbath, Kiss. But when the music Mafia, ASCAP, BMI, and other rights enforcers came calling, the music died. Sit back as Wrestling's Greatest Moments looks at pro wrestling versus the music Mafia theme song shakedown. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell. Early entrance songs. Theme music in wrestling goes back further than many fans believe. Wrestler Gorgeous George strutted out in the 40s to Pomp and Circumstance, the same march Randy Savage later made immortal, leading to many a high school graduating class wondering whether the Macho Man was making an impromptu appearance to hand out diplomas, or at least Slim Jims. However, George wasn't the first, as he borrowed the idea from Irish wrestler Wilbur Finran, who as Lord Patrick Lansdowne entered the ring to God Save the King. As noted in the biography, Gorgeous George, the outrageous bad boy wrestler who created American pop culture, the Gorgeous Act would incorporate several of the older man's innovations, including the use of entrance music. Lansdowne used God Save the King on his haughty march, while George was partial to Pomp and Circumstance. Pro wrestling is full of myths, and entrance themes are no exception. Some fans credit the Freebirds, others Sergeant Slaughter. But the truth is, wrestlers were experimenting with music long before then. In Argentina, the promotion Titans of the Ring gave every wrestler their own theme song as early as the 1960s, even releasing an album of their entrance music. According to Pro Wrestling Stories' Jeff Frantum, the Argentine Lucha Libre promotion Titanes en el Ring, which predominantly ran from 1962 until 1988, is documented as being the first to give all of its wrestlers music. There was even a popular album release of the themes. In the US, things moved more slowly, but the 1970s saw Innovators changing the game. 1970s Innovators. While theme songs were rare in American promotions, that began to change during the 1970s as inventive wrestlers recognized the appeal of combining music into pro wrestling. Wrestler Chris Colt, a man far ahead of his time, began using rocker Alice Cooper's music as part of his own shocking act. As a single, Colt continued to shine, in large part because of his willingness to defy the norms. He was one of the first wrestlers to adopt a rock and roll gimmick, painting his face and using Alice Cooper's Welcome to My Nightmare entrance music as part of the Chris Colt experience. Innovation was a key, and while some promoters were stuck in their ways, which is one of the reasons some promotions went belly up when Vince McMahon shook the status quo during the 1980s, others saw the future. For example, Jerry the King Lawler and handsome Jimmy Valiant saw the appeal of music and video, utilizing both to promote wrestling in Memphis, including a memorable angle in 1977 where Lawler, who had supposedly retired to begin a music career, entertained fans during intermission with a concert, only for Valiant to smash a guitar over his head. Big man Bad Bad Leroy Brown used Jim Croce's hit song of the same name as his entrance music, which added to Brown's presentation. The rock and wrestling boom. As the 1980s rolled around, entrance themes began popping up more frequently. While it was still the exception rather than the rule, more wrestlers and promoters were beginning to see the value of using rock music to energize the fans before matches. Of course, some promoters were skeptical. Michael Hayes has often told the story of what happened when he approached promoter Nick Gulas about adopting an entrance theme. As Freebird Michael Hayes tells it, he felt Lynyrd Skynyrd's song Freebird was ideal for their entrance music. When we asked promoter Nick Gulas if we could do it, I'll never forget it. He said, "Are you boys taking them marijuana pills again?" Whether any marijuana pills were involved, Freebird became Terry Gordy, Michael Hayes, and Buddy Roberts' anthem. It soon had company as more wrestlers began using entrance music, including Sergeant Slaughter using the Marine Corps hymn, and Jimmy Valiant using the Manhattan Transfer's cover of the ad-lib song, The Boy from New York City. MTV's 1981 debut changed things dramatically in wrestling. The overnight success of music videos led to promoters Jerry Lawler and Jerry Jarrett using music videos to hype wrestlers. As mentioned, Lawler and Jarrett had used music videos before, but never at this level. Soon, the Memphis-based Continental Wrestling Association, CWA, was running what seemed like endless music videos for their babyface team, the Fabulous Ones, Stan Lane and Steve Keirn. The Fabs adopted ZZ Top's Sharp-Dressed Man as their entrance music, but didn't limit the music in their videos to ZZ Top. Before long, other wrestlers utilized music to hype their entrances. Some of the best remembered are Rush's Tom Sawyer for Kerry Von Erich, Queen's Another One Bites the Dust for the Junkyard Dog, Black Sabbath's Iron Man for the Road Warriors, and of course, Survivor's Eye of the Tiger for Hulk Hogan. However, pro wrestling's expansion from a regional-based business to a national one would soon lead to a clash, with forces stronger than even the greatest wrestling promotions. Enter the Music Mafia. Meet the Music Mafia. ASCAP, American Society of Composers, Authors and Publishers, BMI, Broadcast Music Incorporated, and SESAC, Society of European Stage Authors and Composers. Their job is to make sure songwriters get paid whenever their music is played in public. Fair enough, but their tactics make organized crime look like bingo night. Bowling alleys, diners, even some mom-and-pop bars have been sued for playing songs without a license. Happy Birthday itself was locked down by Warner Chappell, a song publishing outfit, for decades, leading to some restaurants inventing their own birthday jingles just to avoid paying fees. In a hilarious case of laser-guided karma, Warner Chappell eventually had to pay back millions when courts determined it never held the rights to Happy Birthday. So what happened when wrestling promotions started blasting popular rock anthems on national TV every week? The Music Mafia came knocking. The Crackdowns. Wrestling's expansion from local TV to national coverage on WTBS and the USA Network meant promotions were now using licensed music without authorization. Interestingly, promotions were generally okay if they played entrance music at arenas, because many arenas paid license fees for ASCAP and or BMI to play music whenever shows, not limited to wrestling, came to town. As noted in past videos, rock and pop music played a central role in the WWF's expansion from a Northeast-based promotion to a national one. Cyndi Lauper's heavy involvement in the brawl to settle it all popularized the WWF in the mainstream public, and soon, every superstar seemed to have entrance music, sometimes without any logic. For example, things took a turn for the ridiculous when Autograph's Turn Up the Radio was used as the entrance music for Greg the Hammer Valentine. Wrestling spread into closed-circuit TV, and later pay-per-view, along with it appearing on broadcast TV, such as Saturday night's Main Event, meant promoters now had to choose between paying licensing fees or getting sued. However, Vince McMahon, a visionary in many ways, went with a third option, creating in-house music the WWF could use to bypass license fees and monetize at the same time. Before long, in-house music became common. The WWF launched the Wrestling album, which featured the iconic Real American, a song originally created for the U.S. Express's Barry Windham and Mike Rotunda, but later given to Hulk Hogan when Windham jumped to Jim Crockett Promotions. Likewise, the Freebirds created their Bad Street USA album, thereby avoiding paying to use Freebird. In-house music eventually became the norm, with WWF's hiring of Jim Johnston creating a seismic shift, creating songs that have gone from popular wrestling songs to pop culture standards. WCW, in typical WCW form, would create its own songs, but they often sounded suspiciously familiar, a prime case being DDP's Nirvana-like entrance music. The real winners. So what did wrestling lose? The raw, rebellious thrill of real music. The kind of pop you only get when the Road Warriors exploded into action to the theme of Iron Man. But what did it gain? Icons. Original themes like Real American, Glass Shatters, Rest in Peace, and many others. Songs built to last forever without fear of the shakedown. Of course, these days, the pendulum has swung a little too far. Instead of iconic Jim Johnston tracks, a lot of WWE's new themes sound like they came off a $29.99 royalty-free stock CD. Interestingly enough, several WWE themes have been licensed from stock music companies, including the Hardys' iconic entrance music from the 90s and Bray Wyatt's Firefly Funhouse theme. While pro wrestling still embraces outside acts, for the days when the promotions bowed down to the music mafia are over. Another example of how desperation led to innovation. Do you remember some of wrestling's classic themes? Do you miss the days when promoters appropriated rock music? Share your thoughts in the comments section and let us know if there are any videos you'd like Wrestling's Greatest Moments to cover. In the meantime, subscribe to our channel, follow us on X and Instagram, and spread the good news about Wrestling's Greatest Moments, the channel that celebrates the squared circle.